Granny Bernie put that chicken in that tow sack and cut a hole in it. And I was about 5 years old. And she gave it to me and said, take this to Granny Owens. Well, I started down the road with the chicken, and the old chicken stuck his head out that hole, and I thought he was going to get out. I grabbed him by the neck, and when I got to Granny Owens' house, he was dead. And I walked from out here to Fast Fair to Fairmont by myself.
Is that how you got around? You walked a lot?
That's the only way we got around.
Get around.
And yeah, I think my daddy had an old car at one time, but I don't ever remember nothing about that. Cause I don't even remember him.
I was about to ask you, do you remember anything about him? Like any memory?
I have no recollection
of him, because you were so
young. I guess I was close to 2.5 years old.
Did your mom ever tell you anything about him?
Very little.
Very little?
She just didn't talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. How did he die?
He had pneumonia. The 13th time it killed him.
How old was he?
He wasn't very old. Mama was 2 years older than him. He must, I don't know, he must have been in, he was probably in his middle 20s.
It's crazy, isn't it? What happened so quick?
But Grandpa was the only male figure I had until we moved to Fairmont, and then it was Uncle William.
So what were they like? What was your grandpa like? Like, what was his character?
He was a good man, but he didn't go to church or nothing, but he was a worker.
Yeah.
When it got daylight, he was in the farm field, and when it got dark, he'd come in.
That's where you got your work ethic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you got your work ethic.
Probably, I don't know. But Mama was the same way. They had to hustle, and they did all the canning, and we didn't know. I never had much.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I never had any money.
So y'all were considered poor, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Grandpa always raised a good big garden, and Mama and Granny Burnett would can the stuff, beans and corn and all that kind of stuff. And Grandpa would raise hogs and kill the hogs, and he'd salt cure the meat, and they'd make sausage and fry it up and put it in a quart jar and put some of the grease in there with it and turn it upside down. And when the grease hardened, it would seal it. It'd keep.
Yeah.
And if we wanted a chicken, they'd go out in the yard and get one, Granny Burnett would, and get one grabbed by the neck and kill it.
That's funny.
It's
so different now, isn't it?
But we had, and like I said, we had plenty to eat. Just didn't have nothing else, or didn't
have all the extra. Didn't have all
didn't
the
know
extra.
there wasn't no extra.
Yeah.
You know, you can forget that.
Yeah.
But that was really a better time than when Granny Burnett died. She had cancer and died, and Grandpa Burnett quit farming, and he went to Clinton and Lydia Mill to live with a niece of his. And we had to go to Fairmont and live with Granny Owens and William and Gable in 3 rooms.
Oh, wow.
And William was the only one working, and Mama took in washing and ironings and babysit. She babysit some kids from 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, $3 a week.
And how old were you then?
I was probably 11, 12 years old then.
Okay.
But it just normal. I mean, you know, we didn't have nothing, but we didn't know we was poor.
Yeah. So you never knew until later on that y'all didn't have a lot of money.
Hey, we didn't have no money.
Yeah.
That I know of. Grandpa had,
Oh,
he had a little because he had to have a mule and stuff, plows and all that kind of stuff to farm with. And that's why he grew cotton, and they'd take it up here to gin and gin it and put it on a bale, and they'd pay you so much a pound for it.
yeah.
And
Let's see. This is a good one. What was your favorite place as a child? Like, what was your favorite place to be? If you didn't go a lot of places, I guess that's a hard question to
I guess at home, because I didn't go nowhere.
You didn't have money to go anywhere. Okay, well, here's one
No,
more.
we'd go down to Fairmont every now and then, see Granny Owens, Myrtle, and William and them. And we went to church every Sunday morning and then evening. And I guess that's some of the best memories, because I had a Sunday school teacher that'd have a little party for us every now and then.
Yeah.
Egg hunt.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
But y'all never traveled out anywhere. You stayed at home.
I was trying to think first time, or some of the first times I ever remember riding in a car.
That's a good one. When's the first time?
See, I was considered an orphan. Well, I was. But my daddy died.
Yeah.
And Mama never remarried. But John Snow was the policeman out here, and for the county. And when they had court, they had what they called jury boy. They had a box with all the names of the jurors in it, and hit the cube. They couldn't, as long as you couldn't read, they'd pick a number out of that box, and that guy had to sit on that case.
Yeah.
Well, once in a while, he'd get me a week of that, and he'd come get me and Mama in the mornings and bring us home in the evening. And when I think I made about $10
So
that
you got
week.
paid for it, yeah.
And at the end of the week, she'd go uptown and buy maybe a shirt, pair of overalls. I remember getting a little airplane one time about that long.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
So when's the first time you went to the beach? When's the first time you saw the ocean?
1947 when I graduated from high school.
Yeah. Is that when you joined the Army or whatever?
Huh?
Is that when did you go to war and all that? How old were you?
Well, I finished school in 47, worked at the company store till 1950. Played baseball for Fairmont team I started it while I was still in high school. I played 5 years, and in 1950, I played the last baseball game for Fairmont on Saturday and went to Air Force on Monday, August the 29th, 1950.
Okay.
And August of 1951, I was sitting over on Okinawa.
Yeah.
Our bombers were running missions to Korea every day, bombing. We were considered in the war zone.
Yeah.
I spent 2 years over there, but there's so much before that.
When you said the first time you saw, I know we're going to go back and forth and that's okay, but you said the first time you saw the ocean was the year you graduated?
Yeah,
That's the
I
first time.
graduated from high school, and me and Claude Hudson rode the bus down there.
Okay.
And we was in a taxi going to that old Chesterfield Inn. It was 3 stories high, and that was the tallest building in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And when we're coming up the street, you look straight down where that pavilion was, and you could see the water. And that's the first time I saw the ocean.
Yeah.
when Grandpa quit farming, we had to move to Fairmont. And we had to move in with William, Granny Owens, and Gable, or James, Gable. That was Mama's two brothers. And we had 3 rooms, 5 of us. And like I said, my job was to go to the woods and get dry wood, limbs and things like that to build a fire around the old wash pot to boil the clothes in. She'd boil the clothes and then put them in a tub and rinse them with clear, cool water, and then hang them up and let them dry. And she didn't, I don't know, maybe $1 to do a washing for people. And I got to hanging around the old store down there. And I'd sweep up or do this, help load the old delivery truck with kerosene and groceries and stuff. They'd give me a little money. Then the morning after I finished high school, well, before that, when somebody was sick or something, it got to where they'd call me and let me work in the old store. Because you had to clerk everything. Everything was behind the counter.
Yeah.
And the morning after I was working in the mill 2 days a week, 1 week, and 3 days the next. They gave me and Glenn Pruitt a job in the mill as long as we were in high school. And then I'd done that for 2 years. And then when somebody fired somebody or something in the store, and they come up there and got me and asked me if I wanted a job working in the store, and I said, yeah. But I had to drive that old delivery truck because people buy the groceries and you had to deliver them for them.
Yeah.
They buy 500 pounds of coal, you had to go shovel the coal in the truck and take it to them. Yeah. But there's 5 of us, me and Mama and William and Gable, and William was the only one working in the mill. Mama she kept trying to get a job down there. Finally did, but, and William married this woman out of Lee, and she was a bitch. He brought her home, and Granny only started living with Myrtle and Lurie, and me and Mama had to stay there for a while with them. And finally she got a job in the mill, and as soon as she got a job in the mill, she rented a house down here where Hollyfields lived on the right in that curve.
Yeah.
There was a big old 2-story house there. And she rented that, and me and her and Granny Owens moved out into that. I was beginning to start high school then. And she worked down in that old cotton mill, and I piddled around down there at the store a little, and then but there's so many things that you don't bring to mind right off.
What? Let's see. What was your favorite food? Well, this was a real quick one, but what was your favorite food as a child? What was your favorite meal?
Well, now meals,
or a meal, yeah.
I guess milk, because we had a cow all the time, and they'd milk the cow and strain it, and I'd drink it.
Yeah, and that was your favorite?
Well, I guess, because it kept me alive. That, and every now and then they'd bake a cake on Sunday. But we ate vegetables and eat the chicken and out of the yard and the pig meat and eggs and.
Hello, please leave a message after the tone.
But
I got another question too, and this is about growing up. But it says, what was the hardest part about growing up for you? What was the hardest part about it?
not having anything, I guess.
Yeah.
Cause Christmas come, that's the only time I ever got a toy.
Yeah.
And one Christmas I got a little race car about that long. I kept it for 3 years.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Our kids need to learn
Another
something.
year, one year I got a little football.
Yeah.
One year I got little old watch, cost about $1.
What did y'all do on holidays? Did you have a tree or
Huh?
what did y'all do on holidays? Did you have a tree or like put up a tree?
I don't know if we even knew when holidays come.
Yeah. So you didn't
Except
have a
Christmas
Christmas
and
tree?
Easter.
Yeah. Y'all did have a Christmas tree or no?
We really didn't have any special days that I remember. I mean, it was just another day.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see.
I can't tell you how the times that you wanted something so bad and you couldn't get it. Just a nickel bar of candy. Yeah. I'd have to walk some time from down there. The store was up here where you turned to go down to the dump right there. Mr. Hayes run a store there. They'd send me up there to get a gallon of kerosene to burn in the lamps. That's all we had. We had no electricity.
Yeah.
We had them little oil lamps. And the heat was a big old fireplace where Grandpa had cut wood and you burned that. And you slept in the same room where it was, so help you stay warm. And you'd get in situations where you didn't know what to do and how to do because you never did get to do those things. And you just didn't know how to act.
Like how so? Do you have an example?
Huh?
Like how so?
Well, I don't remember having a birthday party. I don't know if they even remember. They might say it's your birthday.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you just live. That's
just what you
I
did.
played in the yard. I mean, I wasn't aware of that we were poor. We didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
Because nobody else hardly had anything.
Yeah.
People in the cotton mill had plenty compared to what we had.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just every now and then, like I said, you'd want something so bad you couldn't have it. You learn to do without.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why even now I might be considered kind of stingy.
Yeah.
But if you got anything, you took care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see how that one.
And I was just beginning to get old enough when Grandpa quit farming. I was getting on toward 11 years old. But I was already beginning to start to plow. He'd make rabbit guns in the winter. I remember one time he had about 20. And my job was get up early before I went to school and go check them if there's a rabbit in it. I'd pick the rabbit, whole gum up and take it home. Granny Murray reach in there and get it by the hind legs, and we had a big old rock that we used for a step up into the kitchen from the outside. And she'd whack him against that rock and kill him, and then she'd skin him and cut him, and we'd eat him.
Yeah.
I mean,
You just lived off the land, then. That's pretty much what you did.
yeah, I mean, you know, you got used to blood. I mean,
Yeah.
because that's what they do now, but people don't see it. It was done in the yard then, and they'd make Grandpa'd make what you call tater heels. They'd raise sweet potatoes, and he'd dug a round hole in the ground, put straw in there, and put the potatoes on that, and then put some more straw, and then cover it up with dirt. When you wanted a sweet potato, you go out there and dig a hole in that dirt and get it down in there and get you a sweet potato.
Yeah.
And
Well, here's a hard one. Not really a hard one, but what was your most loving memory with your mom? Like, what's the one, or and what's the most loving memory you have with her? And if she were here today, what would she tell all of us?
oh, she'd love you, but I never in my life can I remember growing up having somebody tell me they love me.
Yeah.
She just wasn't that kind, and she didn't remarry because I don't think she thought too much of that marriage business.
Yeah.
She, you know, well, after I was born and Daddy died, and people were a little more lenient, I guess, toward me sometimes because my daddy had died and I was considered an orphan.
Yeah.
But I didn't know nothing about being an orphan or nothing like that.
It's just how you had grown.
I never went hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you just did the best you could. That's all. I mean.
Yeah.
And when she finally got that job in the mail, boy, we thought we was doing something. But then Mr. Jewell come here to run the mill, and like I said, he let the kids that was still going to school work in the summer in the mill. He'd give them a little old job. The first paying job I ever had, I got 40 cents an hour.
And where was that in the store?
I was probably in about 10th grade. I just turned 16. And then when he gave me and Glenn that one job, we'd go to work at 2 o'clock, go to school and get out and go to work at 2 o'clock and get off at 10 and get up and go to school the next day. And when I started that, I bought just about all my clothes. I paid for all my books. I paid for my trip to Washington as a senior. And I was doing pretty good then. I mean, it wasn't that much, but like I said, if you got something, you took care of it.
Yeah.
And growing up down on that farm and all, and even when we got to Fairmont, but on that farm, we had no electricity. And the bathroom was the outhouse.
Yeah.
And when we moved to Fairmont, you had electricity and water. We had to draw our water out of a well down here, but when we moved down there, they had one spigot on the back porch. And no matter how high the porch was, and that's where you got your water.
Yeah.
And they had one light bulb hanging in the middle of the room, and that's all.
The light you had.
That's the light you had.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, like I said, you just didn't consider yourself poor because everybody was poor.
Yeah.
But some of us were a little more poor than others.
Yeah. All right, hold on.